Well, look at that. That was easy, wasn't it?
Just what we all expected.
This is Cyclone Fanatic postgame. I am Jake Brend, joined by Aiden Wyatt, award-winning producer. As always, we're in the Northwest Bank Studios for a little cold open of the Cyclone Fanatic postgame show as number 15 Iowa State beats Creighton 78-60. Just a dominant performance without Iowa State's most important and best player, Tamin Lipsey. Didn't even matter.
Yeah, did you even notice that he was gone?
No, because
it never came to it. You never really had a moment where you were like, man, I wish Tamin Lipsey... I mean, obviously you wish Tamin Lipsey was on the floor, but they played pretty well without him.
Well, did I even mention it in pregame? I was thinking it. I almost wore, for this show, my Slam University, Keyshawn Gilbert, Curtis Jones shirt, because when did those guys really come through? It was that game at TCU when Tamin was out. I think we saw that today with Killian Torrey. Not that he's been incredible really all year, but this was his first game with the keys, and Torrey, dare I say, looked like an NBA player out there. 20 points. He was spectacular, and he is going to be a fan favorite. Maybe not for a long time in Ames, because there's going to be NBA scouts out there, and what they saw from him today, that looked like a guy that could play in the association. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves.
It's only November, folks.
But my gosh, we'll get into all of that on this Cyclone Fanatic postgame show. Roll the open, Aiden.
10% of all the new cars sold in Iowa come from the Karl Auto Group. Our neighbors trust us to have the largest selection and the highest standards. To our current customers, thank you. And to our future customers, see for yourself why Karl drives Iowa.
Your dealer for life, it's the Karl way. Keen Project Solutions, a modern engineering and construction firm, embracing technology, establishing industry-leading systems and processes, and delivering reliable results to our customers. At Keen, we are passionate about inspiring our team and our customers to achieve great things, offering the highest quality services in commercial construction to deliver turnkey projects. Our core beliefs drive us forward. Protect people, build relationships, drive innovation, and focus on end goals, bringing our customers' desired results to life. See how Keen can work for you at ThinkDifferent.ThinkKeen.com.
What is up? We are back for the Cyclone Fanatic postgame show. He's Jake Brend. I'm Aiden Wyatt. Iowa State 78-60 winners over Creighton. Jake, 2-0 in Vegas. You asked for 2 wins. You got 2 wins. How you feeling right now?
I don't know how you could feel any better. I somehow feel even better right now than I did at this point yesterday. When Iowa State, the St. John's win is objectively a better win. That's a top 15
Absolutely.
team.
Yep.
That is a 2 seed in the tournament last year. If all goes according to plan, they're going to be destined to be a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament this year. But at the end of that game, you lose Tamin Lipsey, and you have that pit in your stomach of, oh no. And that's certainly not gone, but Iowa State, without Tamin Lipsey, against the odds, they went from 9.5-point favorites to 4.5-point favorites. They made Creighton look like a mid-major school, and they're not. They're not at all, and Iowa State was more physical. They were so good defensively at so many points in that game, and truly they did almost whatever they wanted on the offensive end. That was about as impressive of a performance you'll see in college basketball this season, the way Iowa State controlled that from the first minute to the 40th.
Yeah, going back, TJ's entire tenure, this is one of the better defensive performances you've seen his team have. How many times was Creighton 25 feet away from the hoop with single digits on the shot clock?
They had 2 shot clock violations in the first 4 minutes of the game. There was another where Iowa State blocked it with a second left on the shot clock, So that's almost 3 possessions that go all the way down to 0 on the shot clock, where Creighton didn't even have a decent look. And that was just the first 4 minutes of the game. I would say that happened another dozen times over the course of the game. This, to me, felt like one of the defensive performances from TJ's first year. When the message in the locker room was, I'm paraphrasing and exaggerating a little bit, but look, you guys can't score the ball. The only way we're going to go out there and win the game is if you play defense for 40 minutes like your life depends on it. And that's what made that team so good.
It was a race to 55 points.
That's what made that team so good. The difference is now we saw Iowa State capable of playing with that defensive intensity for almost 40 minutes today. And they've also got like 3 borderline NBA players on offense that, I mean, it seemed like they could do whatever they wanted on the offensive side of the ball at will. And that is a pretty lethal combination when you factor in all of the behind-the-scenes stats of turnovers, where Iowa State only turned the ball over 8 times. They turned Creighton over 17. Iowa State only hit 5 threes, and they won by 18.
They were over in the second half, too, I think, weren't they?
I believe you're right. I can pull that up right now. They were, they were 1 of 4. 1 of 4 in the second. 1 of 4,
okay.
But you take 1 3 every 5 minutes in the second half, and you beat a Creighton team who shoots a ton of threes by 18 points. So impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa State handled that run out of the second half from Creighton pretty well, too. When Josh Dix had 8 points in 3 possessions in a row. So it was pretty encouraging because, without your guy Taman Lipsey, that's when things can kind of spiral. And it seemed like this team responded pretty well.
Joshua Jefferson's got a lot on his plate right now. I mean, he plays down low, which is already, that takes so much energy and effort. He's handling the ball a ton. He's posting up a ton. That's exhausting. So when Jefferson is starting to show a little bit of signs of fatigue, Lipsey's not out there, I start worrying. Killian Torrey looks like a senior.
Yeah.
His best points of that game were right after Dix went on that 7-0 run by himself, where Torrey just goes downhill, feeds one off to Plata, who makes a nice lay-in. Killian goes in again, gets his own layup. Goes in again, missed the layup, gets his own rebound, puts it back up, and gets the technical foul, which...
disgusting act on the basketball court.
Is what it is. But Killian Torrey, I'm not going to say Iowa State loses this game if they don't respond the way they did to Dix, because they went from up 17, I believe, to up 10. Mm-hmm. But Torrey is the one who made this game have no doubt down the last 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, and you mentioned Don Plata. I think today was probably his coming out party.
Ooh.
I mean, yesterday was kind of the first time that he got some serious minutes, but today we really saw what he was on the defensive end, off the ball mainly. And having him coming off the bench behind Blake Buchanan is going to be great for this Iowa State team.
Really, really good. And what's the best German car you can buy? Is it a Volkswagen? You can get that at Karl Auto Group. They provide our Cyclone Fanatic pre- and post-game coverage. KarlChevrolet.com, your dealer for life. All of the great car brands, truck brands, anything you need at Karl Auto Group. Dominikas Plata, incredible day. Like, again, it's not going to show up in the stat sheet, but he's put together quite the week. He had 2 steals, a block, and I was watching the Field of 68 podcast last night after Iowa State's win over St. John's, and I'm totally blanking on his name, but they had a former Kansas assistant coach on the podcast, and he asked what makes Iowa State so difficult to play against, and he said something that I feel like I've heard every compliment under the sun for Iowa State. I don't think I'd heard this one. And he said that he thinks that Iowa State is the best team at walling up that he's ever gone up against. And this is an assistant who's with Bill Self for dozens of years. And after I heard that and I was looking for it today, I completely saw it. There were so many times where Owen Freeman or any of the Creighton guards were going in to try and make a tough layup. Buchanan played it, didn't really go for a block. Just hands behind your head.
Yep.
And it worked. Creighton was able to do next to nothing in the paint all day. Points in the paint ended up being 52-20.
That's crazy.
That is
wow.
Impressive.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, again, like Blake Buchanan does a lot of stuff that doesn't show up in the stat sheet either. That guy plays harder than, I mean, he's like the LeBron James of Rob Joneses. He's unbelievable out there. I love him.
I'm a Buccaneer. I'm out here to say it. I was a day one.
Yes,
with my guys,
true.
with my guy
Yep.
Cyclone Larry.
Yeah.
There was portions of the fan base that were upset about a certain Australian not coming to Iowa State. And when I watched the film of Blake Buchanan, I saw a guy who can run the floor, defend the pick and roll, defend guards, which is what Iowa State got out of Rob Jones. And you, with Rob giveth, Rob taketh. Everybody loves Big Rob energy. There were a lot of limitations in his game.
Mm-hmm.
Buchanan certainly has some limitations, but they seem to me easy to cover up. And I think his touch is getting better by the game.
Yeah.
It seems like there's another possession where Creighton had, I don't know what score they'd cut it to, but it was probably 10 or 12. Iowa State had a possession going nowhere. Buchanan, ball in the paint, 4 seconds. He could have just tossed up a hook shot right away. He was patient, got the touch, and got it to go down, and that was just kind of the story of Iowa State all game long. Anytime Creighton made even the slightest run, Iowa State had an answer in the form of Jefferson, Buchanan, Torrey, and then Milan Momcilovic. He doesn't play a ton because of foul trouble, but it felt like every single shot that he hit in that first half is what led Iowa State to be able to pull away.
So, talking about Taman Lipsey a little bit here, do you think what they did today is sustainable if Taman Lipsey is out for an extended period of time? Or was today kind of a fluke?
I mean, it's probably fluke-ish. I think it's somewhat sustainable. I think if you play this game 10 times, you're probably not going to win by more than 18 any of those times. But then again, I say that, and Iowa State had 5 or 6 bunnies that if they make that, it's maybe a 30-point game. But I do think it's sustainable the way that Jefferson and Buchanan are playing down low. When those guys are protecting the paint the way they are, with what Iowa State can already do on the perimeter defensively, and there were so many times I was just watching Torrey on defense where he's going from one wing, someone traps in the corner, and he's instantly closing out in the opposite corner. He makes it look so easy, and that's what I think is sustainable. The defensive intensity from Torrey, from Heisey, from Bateman. Nelson added some good minutes in there. I do really think that even without Taman Lipsey, you're not going to have the same ceiling defensively or offensively, but you can still be a really good team, and I think they showed that today.
Yeah, Killian Torrey has kind of become the 40 minutes from hell defender for Iowa State, you know.
The torture
minutes
chamber.
of hell, yeah.
Should we just, I mean...
Yeah, let's get into it.
He's going to be my preferred pest of the game.
How could it be anyone else?
There's not going to be a lot of times this season where the leading scorer qualifies for the pest of the game because I don't really think that's within the spirit of the award. But I don't know how you can watch this game and give this award to anybody else. Torrey, 20 points, and it's not like these were all easy baskets either. He had a couple nice up and unders. He had his own putback. Like even his 20 points was pesty in a way. Somehow only gets 1 block, 1 steal, and they were both flashy. He had the block down on the post where he almost hit his head on the scoreboard, and then he picked Josh Dix's pocket and went the other way for a dunk. Killian Torrey is going to win. We might be able to rename this.
He's going to be a frequent.
The preferred pest control, Killian Torrey, pest of the game. Just I could talk about him for an hour.
I mean, he's the best freshman Iowa State has had since
Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton, okay.
I love Tamin Lipsey. He was not put in a fair position his freshman year, and so much credit to him because he adjusted on the fly, and he grew so much from that first game to the unfortunate loss to Pitt in the NCAA tournament. But Tamin was forced to do too much as a freshman who probably wasn't ready to completely take over a team yet. Torrey has more around him when it comes to having a big like Joshua Jefferson who can handle the ball. Of course, Lipsey when he's healthy next to his side, and an NBA type shooter in Milan Momcilovic. What Torrey's been able to do so far in kind of ease in and take that next step today, he's already got an NBA body. He's already an NBA level defender. And what we saw today, his cutting ability, his slashing ability, some of his ball handling, he only had 2 turnovers for a freshman who's handling the ball as much as he is. Torrey is the most impressive freshman guard that I've seen at Iowa State in quite some time.
Yeah, I'm not going to compare him to Monte Morris or DeAndre Kane, and I know we've kind of talked about this a little already this year, but it feels more like that when it comes to Killian Torrey and Tamin Lipsey, where you have this freshman who doesn't have all the weight of the world on him.
Yes.
He's allowed to make mistakes, learn to be better in the moment, and I think it'll be, it's not often you get a dynamic guard in the backcourt. Like, I can't talk right now. It's not often that you get that kind of duo in the backcourt where you're allowed to have one guy just be the young guy, play free.
Yeah, and I think you've seen that a lot this year, where if you watch the cupcake games, I would say that Torrey's handling the ball more than Lipsey.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that shows directly that they're trying to ease him into a role to where he can be the primary ball handler. And yesterday, Torrey barely handled the ball. Yes, he was in foul trouble, and St. John's was pressing like crazy. They put the ball back in Tamin Lipsey's hands because they trust him more, and they should trust him more. But I think today that you've seen some of the fruits of that labor paying off, and that's a really good comparison, even though like Kane and Morris are 2 completely different players to Lipsey and Torrey.
Yep.
But I completely see that comparison, and I can't even imagine how much better those guys made each other in the offseason and how much they're continuing to make each other better when they're playing alongside each other.
Yeah, absolutely. People in the comments talking about who does Iowa State play next? Well, here's the answer. We don't know. And we really won't know officially until probably like 2 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so the final game in which I was really disappointed. I stayed up late last night. I watched the final game between UNLV and Maryland. I watched the game between Arizona State and Texas, and my boy Mo had an unbelievable game, and I was tweeting and nobody was up with me. So if you want to find out where Iowa State plays tomorrow or when or who they play, you're going to have to stay up for the late games tonight. I'll double check the schedule
quick. The last game is UNLV Alabama. So I don't think it'll really matter for Iowa State, given that neither of those teams will be 2-0.
Yeah, they've just got to wait until.
Yeah.
So we'll get into all that. I want to first thank a couple more of our sponsors. Natuzel Financial Services of Raymond James. Clay Natuzel and his son Chase and his other son Clay bring over 32 years of experience in the financial industry, lifelong Cyclone fans and supporters, and they work really hard. I bet they had a laptop or something up in the office today watching the Cyclones beat Creighton by 18. If you'd like to connect with some good Cyclones who will take care of your money, you can reach out to Natuzel Financial Services of Raymond James by searching them online. It's spelled Netusil. We appreciate their support. We could not do it without them. We'd also like to give a shout out to Keen Project Solutions. Are you looking for a career that challenges and inspires you? Keen Project Solutions is growing and hiring engineers and project managers for their Ankeny and Kansas City offices. Join a team that values your dedication, fuels your career growth, and turns your expertise into impactful solutions. Visit thinkkeen.com to apply. This tournament, I
love it and I hate it.
Yeah, well, and the good news is a lot of the parts we hate are going to go away because the format for next year, it's 4 8-team tournaments, and we'll see how this works. But essentially, there's going to be 4 champions or 4 pod champions, and then those 4 champs will go back to Vegas and play. So there will be more of a true format to determine a winner. This year, it's based off of record, so you've pretty much got to go at minimum 2-0 to get in. But then you need to have big point differential. So Iowa State's point differential heading into the final game is 19, which is probably not going to cut it. However, they are capping the point differential at 20. So Michigan won, I believe, by 30 yesterday. So they only get 20 points for their point differential.
And I think Tennessee won by 30 plus yesterday against Rutgers.
Same deal. So I guess if you're an Iowa State fan and you're rooting to make the championship, you want those teams to lose. You want Michigan and you want Tennessee to lose, which is certainly possible because Tennessee plays Houston and Tennessee plays or Michigan plays. Let me pull it up. I've got the whole tournament. Michigan plays Auburn. So that's certainly doable if both of them lose. Gonzaga plays Maryland. They're probably going to win that game by double digits, which would clinch them in the championship. So it feels dumb to even talk about it because there's just not a lot we can do right now. There's not a lot of like in between the lines you can read. Kansas is up 10 right now as we speak over St. John's. They were able to win by 10 yesterday.
Syracuse.
Yes, Syracuse. Excuse me. They beat Notre Dame by 10 yesterday also. So if they hold on to win by double digits, their point differential will be above Iowa State's.
And plus,
it's a mess.
Isn't there something where you're not going to play a conference opponent?
I think...
Or am I making that up?
No, I saw that as well. I don't think that I think if the top 2 teams to play for a championship were, say, Iowa State and Kansas,
oh, sure. Yeah.
I think they'd be able to play. It's more so... The way I read it is they've got the first place game and the third place game. I would imagine if you've got Big 12 teams possibility of facing each other there, they're going to still do it. It's the Thursday at 2 p.m. game where they're just trying to put together the 14th best team against the 13th best team. They'll probably try and avoid conference affiliations at that point.
Makes sense. I don't know. All of this just makes perfect sense. Not complicated in the slightest. So,
but again, the problem is the final game of the night is UNLV against Alabama, and it tips off 11 p.m. Iowa time, which means that.
Well, I think the last game that matters is Gonzaga, Maryland.
Okay, and that tips off at 8:30.
Yeah.
But I still don't think they're going to have all the matchups released until after the final buzzer sounds. So
I think you're right.
I'll stay up. I'll put my ass on the line for this company.
God bless you, company man, Jake Brend.
I'll do it. But I don't know. Is there anything left to talk about?
I don't think so. I love midday basketball, so this is exciting.
Oh,
feels like NCAA tournament.
Can I talk about Nate Heisey?
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't have the stat line, 8 points. Leads the team in assists, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, a block. He plays 39 minutes. That's what I'm looking at. He didn't see a bunch of shots fall yesterday. In fact, he didn't really see any, but he got a big one to go early. And Heisey was attacking the rim. He was making good passes. It seems like he's really solidifying what his role is going to be on this team, and that role is going to fluctuate day by day. There is going to be a game where Heisey scores 20. It's just going to happen, and he's going to do it in a big game. But right now what he's doing, there's a reason why he played 39 minutes and really didn't leave the floor. I can't even remember the time he did leave the floor. So Heisey is kind of an unsung hero of this team, and he's going to start scoring a little more points as the team kind of finds their rhythm more.
I think he is a runner-up for preferred pest control pest of the game.
Yeah, that's fair. It'd be Torre, Heisey, and Plata. I think they're all kind of in the running right there. But there's no way to give it to anybody but Torre.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Agreed.
Come on.
All right.
Well, I
Any
think
parting
that's all.
shots before we get out of here?
I think that's all I got. I suppose I could. You want to pull up the teams again in the tournament? Who do you want to see Iowa State play tomorrow? What's the most interesting? That's realistic. Obviously, Rutgers, stuff like that's not realistic.
Right.
I can certainly tell you one team I do not want to see.
Gonzaga?
Two teams I don't want to see. Gonzaga and Alabama. I don't.
Yeah.
Alabama's BYU and Creighton on steroids. Gonzaga, I think, is maybe the best team out there.
They won't get Alabama.
Oh, they already lost. That's right.
Because they lost.
1-1.
Yep. Yeah. So not worry about them. Gonzaga, though.
I think I want Michigan. I think that'd be a really intriguing game.
Yeah.
They turn the ball over quite a bit. They're really talented. They've got good bigs. I think that would be a very similar game to Iowa State St. John's, which in that case, maybe I don't want the Cyclones getting absolutely gassed playing against Michigan.
Right.
But I think looking at that list of teams, I think that is the most intriguing matchup for me.
Sorry, my dog just crawled on my desk.
Aw.
Say hi to the people, Betty.
Can you say go Cyclones, Betty? That's good enough.
All right.
Yeah,
I think there aren't really a shortage of interesting matchups for Iowa State, no matter who they get.
Just no Baylor, please.
Yeah, right.
No.
Who do you have in that game? St. John's, Baylor.
Give me the Johnnies.
Okay.
I think they'll be really desperate to go prove something, but
yeah.
But it's been a long time since Scott Drew has had minimal expectations. So, and the way that Rick Pitino was coaching yesterday, there might not be a timeout called in the final 15 minutes of this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me the Johnnies and give me Kansas to close out Syracuse. But that was a pretty good game from what I was watching earlier.
Yeah, I don't think Kansas will have any issues with Syracuse today, but it's 3:23. Go ahead and bookmark that.
We'll check back on this.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Aiden.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here. This has been the Cyclone Fanatic postgame show presented by Karl Auto Group. Williams and Bloom coming up tomorrow. I believe it will be at 9 a.m. We'll see what happens with Iowa State's schedule.
We'll have the beat reporters also.
That too.
It'll be a loaded day. And the Daily Clone.
And
it'll be a busy day.
Yes, absolutely. And whenever Iowa State plays again, we will have pregame and postgame coverage, as always, right here from the Northwest Bank Studios on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.